So, it is our big, beautiful blue boy's birthday today. That is a lot of bees. But it is Sonic's 30th anniversary today. And I figured what better way to ring in this year than to play the original game. And I'm going to ruin this for you for a second here. The main menu of Sonic the Hedgehog is off-center. Take a look at this. The logo is off to the left way more than it should be. You'll never be able to unsee that. That's an error, actually. And I am shocked they never went back and redid that. So we will be playing the first Sonic the Hedgehog game. This is the Sega Ages version on the Switch, which has a lot of really neat features. It's got save states. It's got something you're going to see me use a lot, which is the drop dash from Sonic Mania, which I think is really cool, even though it has absolutely no real good use in this game, because this one is not really about speed. It's more about platforming and puzzles more than any of the other Sonic games, so everyone and their mother has done a Let's Play of Sonic the Hedgehog. I really don't feel like I have much to say about this game. So what I'm going to be doing is mainly throughout this entire Let's Play, which should be about 3 videos, is talk about my history with the series, you know, how I started it, why I like it, and where I'm at with it now. I'm just going to start by saying right now that I think that Sonic the Hedgehog 1 is probably the worst game in the classic series, and that's including Sonic CD. I think Sonic 2, Sonic CD, Sonic 3, and Knuckles, and Sonic Mania are all about 1,000 times better than this game. This just has a lot of, I think, bad levels, honestly. They're really slow. The real concept of the series was go fast, go faster than Mario. And I really don't think that this game is, I don't think it really does that, other than Green Hill, which is a really incredible level. The 3 acts of Green Hill are great. But other than that, there's really nothing to talk about here. But I'm going to just launch into my history with this series. The very first video game I ever played was a game on the Sega Pico, which I'm sure nobody else has ever owned. It was a game called Tales and the Music Maker. It was a edutainment game that was basically just a bunch of mini-games, like addition games, you know, memory games. It was, I remember it being aesthetically pretty good. I've looked up videos of it, like, not too long ago, and immediately was brought right back to when I first played that. And that was really the first time I'd ever seen the characters, and I just fell in love with them instantly there. And I must have been very, very young when that came out, but yeah, I had a Sega Pico for some reason. You're gonna see my involvement with Sonic in the beginning was very odd, because I never owned a Genesis or any Sega home console until the Dreamcast. So the way that I basically played all the Sonic games past, you know, the ones on the Pico, were on the PC when they eventually released them in, like, Sega Smash Packs and stuff like that. The one that I played the most on the PC was Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It wasn't really until the Sonic Mega Collection that I played, like, 1 and 2. Like, really sat down and played those, because those were, I think, in one of the Smash Packs. But I don't really remember any memories of those games when I was a very small, like, in the 90s. Sonic 3 and Knuckles I remember very, very fondly. I played the hell out of that. But, I had a Game Gear. Just because I didn't own a home console didn't mean I didn't own any Sega systems. I had a Game Gear. Like I said, my history with this is very strange in Sega overall. I don't know why my parents were like, we're gonna give him a Pico and a Game Gear, the 2 things that not a single other person on Earth has ever played. And I just remember hating, absolutely loathing the Game Gear games because they're so hard. They were really, really hard. Yeah, those have also been made available in other versions, like on the Mega Collection, or I think in just Sonic Adventure DX, and yeah, they're just as hard and bad as I remember them, except for Sonic Drift 2, which I absolutely loved. I just loved, again, those characters, seeing them, getting to play as like Metal Sonic and Knuckles and all these other cool characters. But the first Sonic game that I would say, other than Sonic 3 and Knuckles, that I really loved was Sonic Adventure, like 100%. Because I grew up with the cartoons. Whenever eventually those were on Disney, Toon Disney, when that was a channel, I remember it was that show about a cop dog, and then right after it they would play Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, which was probably the first time that I ever saw like Tails and Sonic and like Robotnik speak, and I loved that. I absolutely loved that. And that's what really primed me, I think, for loving Sonic Adventure, because it's one thing to, you know, play one of these games where it's a side-scrolling game. You get to look at cool, you know, backgrounds, and the characters are there, but there's no character there. You know, very little character. But Sonic Adventure was the first one where it was like, okay, these characters are talking, they have personalities, they have, like, distinct musical styles for each character, and that was, I think, what really cemented my love of Sonic. It was really the 3D games that did it. I should also mention that I just celebrated my 28th birthday yesterday, the 22nd, so Sonic and I have always been fairly close. And I remember as a kid, I was always very upset that Sonic's birthday was the day after mine. I was always really upset, like, why couldn't I have been born a day later? As an adult, obviously, that's like, who gives a crap, who cares? But as a kid, that was one of those things that always really bugged me. But, yeah. Obviously, I liked the more serious, like, Sonic cartoon, the other one that was just called Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, because again, you get to see kind of a more serious story, which again, I think really primed me for Sonic Adventure. I really fell in love with just the cutscenes, just getting to watch the characters interact and talk and go through an actual plot was always really cool for me. Obviously, Sonic Adventure 2 was huge. But this is something I don't think I've ever said. I got Sonic Adventure 2 on the Dreamcast, but I've never beaten it on the Dreamcast. Because I remember I was halfway through the villain side story, and I went over to my grandmother's one day, and I remember specifically being annoyed. I was like, Mom, I'm playing Sonic Adventure 2. Do not make me go over to my mom's house, please. When I got there, I noticed that she had a Nintendo GameCube hooked up to the TV, and I was like, what is this? What's going on here? And that was my mom's way of basically telling me, hey, we got you a GameCube, and hey, look, Sonic Adventure 2 is going to be on this, too. Of course, I instantly felt bad as soon as that happened, because I was like, man, I was a little shit. I was like, I don't want to go see Grandma, I want to play Sonic Adventure 2. Meanwhile, my mom's like, you little freak, you little brat. You know, we got you a GameCube, be grateful, you little shit. But, yeah, I finished Sonic Adventure 2 eventually when it was on GameCube. So I think that would be interesting to do someday. After this, I still have to finish Sonic 06. But I think it would be fun at some point to go back to the Dreamcast version and put a little cap, put a little hat on that part of my childhood and be like, I finally finished it. But, oops, it looks like I left in a save state there. I didn't mean to do that. Sonic X was probably the next big Sonic thing that happened. And I vividly remember this. I remember the day that first aired on 4Kids. I don't think I'd ever been more excited for a piece of media, like television movie, to release. Because I remember running around. I was 10. If that came out in 2003, I was 10, because I was born in 93. I was, like, running around my house when the opening was playing. I was so thrilled. I was so excited just to be watching it, because, again, it's one thing to see these characters running around, but I just want to see a scripted show of these characters. Obviously, that show absolutely stunk, and I didn't keep watching it. I stopped after the first episode where he was Supersonic. I stopped watching it, which is pretty early on. Which means I missed their adaptations of Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, which I probably would have loved as a kid. But, yeah, that was a no-go. I guess the next thing that came out was probably Sonic Heroes, but as a little inter thing, there used to be this place near me in New Jersey called Recreation Station, which was basically like it had like a big jungle gym in it, and it had like an arcade section where you could play like fighting games. There were some other just weird odds and ends games. And I remember the very first time I went in there, I was there with my friend Hank, who, you know, I've made many videos with. And I spotted an arcade game that I'd never seen before called Sonic the Fighters. And I was just so blown away by it. It's Sonic in 3D, and it's a fighting game. And that blew my absolute mind. I played that like once or twice there, then that place shut down. So, you know, whatever. But when the Sonic Gems collection came out, I was so excited for that because it was like, wow, it's that weird game that I played like once or twice. I didn't even, you know, I completely forgotten about it at that point, but I was one of the few lucky bastards to actually get to play Sonic the Fighters in an arcade. Another kind of weird, you know, game that was in the Gems collection was one that I played a bunch on the PC because it was, again, another one that got released either on its own or in a Smash pack, was Sonic R. Sonic R was a game that I know a lot of people rag on, but I still think is a really cool concept. Just Sonic characters racing, and like, okay, Sonic doesn't need a car. He's on foot. That's great. I think that's cool. Robotnik's in his Egomatic, which is cool. And the soundtrack in that game is unlike any other racing game soundtrack. It's so unbelievably good that was just another one of those games that I fell in love with. And like, the 90s Sonic games have such a great aesthetic to them. They have such a unique feel that is unmatched. It really feels like they were just experimenting. I guess you can, you know, now you could probably look back on it and say that they were just throwing Sonic into as many things as possible and not really worrying about quality. But I would say that they were experimenting, and, you know, it didn't always pay off, but I liked that they were experimental, and it gave us such things like Sonic R, which has such a banging soundtrack and unique levels, and it looks great. You know, I just think it's very interesting. It was a very interesting time for Sonic. We are wrapping up kind of this first video, so I'll kind of put a pin in my history for now and maybe talk about the game a little bit, but this is just such a great example of why this game is so funky. It's because you've got Green Hill Zone, which is really the only level like that in the game, where it's kind of open. You can, you know, there's loop-de-loops, you can go as fast as you want for the most part, but then you've got such a slow, methodical level like this, and it's just so boring. And I will say, I actually do like this level more than some other levels in this game, because I do like the platforming, you know, I enjoy a good platformer, but this one, it's just, you know, it's not great. But, in terms of, like, Mario, because it's always been Sonic versus Mario, especially at this point in time when this game is released, I would have to say Sonic 1 versus Mario 1 is, like, no question. Mario 1 has aged so phenomenally. Not only just the initial release, but like the All-Stars version of Mario 1 is fantastic. And this one I don't think is held up nearly as well. Now, when you get to like Mario 2 versus Sonic 2 and 3 and stuff like that, it's gonna get a little bit more dicey. You know, I think you can make a case for Sonic 2. Actually, I'll say it here, Sonic 2 is better than Mario 2. But I will see you in the next video where we'll talk more about Sonic, this big, beautiful blue boy, so see you then.